Good afternoon, guys. Today I'm here with my colleague. We're gonna start doing debates. First things of all, we are part of the program Foreign Language Acquisition and Learning. We're gonna start debating about the problems that we found in our theory analysis reports. By watching some classes, making some observations, we could deduce some things that we're gonna discuss in this video. So, today we're gonna start with German's ideas about his analysis. So let's go with it. Let's start.
Okay, thank you, Gerson, for your presentation. And as you said, I'm going to share with you my presentation about the phase two, the theory and analysis report. So let's start. Okay, these are the contents. In the first, we are having the introduction. This course is about how people learn language. It teaches all theories and new ideas. We watch virtual classes to see how this works. This report loads theories, trends, and factors in language learning. I use example from the three virtual English class that I received. The first is the key theories. There are four main theories about how we learn language. The first one is behaviorism, that talks about we learn by repeating and getting rewards. For example, in class, in one class that I watched, the teacher says good when you repeat words correctly. The second one is innate things. Says our brain is ready to learn language from birth. For example, babies learn words without lessons. The third one is sociocultural theory says we learn by talking with others. For example, in class, students practice verbs together and learn faster. The last one is Krashen's monitor model that says we learn naturally, but stress can stop us. For example, you speak better when you are not scared. And now we're going to talk about the current trends. And the first one is neurocognitive approaches. This uses brain studies to help learning. For example, we know repeating helps memory. The second one is multilingualism that say that this means using many languages. For example, in class we mix English and Spanish words. The thing that we call Spanglish. The last one is AI data analytics. AI helps with apps like quizzes. For example, we use a game to practice will and going to. Now, the cognitive factors. The cognitive factors are how our brains work when we learn. Memory and information processing are important. The memory is when we remember words better when we repeat them. For example, in class, we repeated verbs. Talking about information processing, this is how we understand language. For example, we listen and then we speak. Social and emotional influences. Then, contextual and cultural factors. Where and how we learn matters. Culture make lessons more fun. For example, online classes change how we learn. For example, we use Zoom to practice, or like in this debate, Meet. And the culture helps us connected. For example, the teacher use a love promise example, and we laugh. And now we are talking about the problematics in educational situation. The problem is that students don't talk much in class. And why? They are shy or confused. This is bad because talking helps learning. Why is this a problem? It's a problem because if students don't talk, they don't practice. For example, some students only listen in class. And how can we fix it? The teacher can use games or small groups. For example, a game make everyone talk more. And that could be all. Thank you so much.
Okay, that's nice. I really like your presentation and I agree a lot about what you say. Like, practice makes perfect, right? We need people, students to start practicing, to lose that fear of being mistaken, for them to, well, have meaningful conversations and learnings, some lessons. Right now, I'm gonna do my presentation as well. I want to talk about some specific and niche problems that I found in the classes. So I'm gonna present my slides. Okay, let's go for it. Yes, these are the ones. How do I? How can I make it? Okay, so let's go for it. Let's discuss second language learning challenges. This is the title for my presentation because I think it's what we're talking about and it's the most important thing to focus our attention on. And it's about these problems and challenges we're facing as teachers in different modalities. It could be virtual, it could be, well, in a synchronous meeting, a synchronous way, or just formal teaching. Yeah, we have a lot of problems and challenges. We understand that, but we have to address them and find solutions about it. So the introduction for this is that we face some problems, we face some issues there by observing this class, and what can we say about it? We can say that we did an analysis report and we have some information available about it. What kind of information do we have about these three classes? We have key problems. What are the key problems? As my partner said before, and I agree with him, it was the engagement issues, right? Many students didn't participate in these three classes, not because they didn't know, but it was more as they were deconcentrated by their environment. They didn't want to participate because they didn't feel it was the moment or it was their opportunity to do so. Maybe it was also because they weren't interested in the topics, right, in the cultural factors. And there are many factors to take into account as well, like the economical factor, the culture factor, right, the interests that they find in their lessons, right. Not many people have good internet, not many people have the same resources that the teacher demands. So it's a very big challenge to work for that, right. Uh, Moreover, in these classes, for example, the first class was about Brazil, finding some information about it, reading, listening about Brazil, watching some videos, analyzing some paragraphs, right? But the students didn't do it as well as one can hope, right? They were just repeating things, repeating words, just reading, but there isn't an exposure to it. There isn't an interaction with the language. Nothing happened, in my opinion, right? It's just behaviorism. Second thing, second problem that I found in these classes, it was that the input quality was very challenging. Why? Because the inputs that us teachers have to give them in these virtual settings are very limited because we have to connect with them, talk with them, speak with them, and their internet connection can't be really well, right? Or maybe they don't have the resources, as I spoke before about. Yes. Another issue is that the resources that we find the internet aren't very good. Yeah, aren't as good as we would like them to be. Yes. So many teachers used, for example, videos. They used cured content, right? Just raw content without a proper analysis, without mm, a proper touch. Yeah. Well, to teach. The third problem, the key problem that we found, it was emotional barriers. This was very seen in the third class. The teacher was very well excited to talk about Resident Evil. He was very excited about, well, talking about zombies, talking about histories for students to participate and speak, but they didn't. The teacher had to make questions for them to react about that information, that the stimuli. So what's happening? The education in virtual settings is becoming and turning more reactive. They are not participating too much, they aren't interacting too much, they aren't acquiring the language, they're just repeating things. It's just behavior, right? And it's true that it's multilingual. Yes, sometimes they use Spanish, sometimes they use English, right? But they don't use it in a way that they can understand and learn more words. It's more like understanding English by Spanish, and it shouldn't be that way. I have some proposed solutions. We can apply theoretical approaches. For example, the breakout rooms is a new strategy where students can make groups inside the meeting so they can interact with partners. And it's not 50 people, it's going to be like 10 groups. It's much better for teachers. We can implement the theory as well, like Lev Vygotsky says, like virtual settings shouldn't be just listening to a teacher, shouldn't be a conference. It should be a space for learning, right? It shouldn't be just receiving information. It should be, well, deciphering it, comparing it, analyzing it, reflecting about it. Yes, and with a partner, very important. Just like Michael Long says about his theory for meaningful input. Yes. There are some practical fixes like improving tools, improving resources, yes, taking time to think and plan the activities, and try to organize better the virtual settings. And we have more strategies like work in collaboration, work like in a classroom, use a drive, use Teams as well is a good idea. And that's it. I think that's it. Thank you. What do you think?
I think that your presentation were very well. You include a lot of things or topics that are very important nowadays. Talking about the the acquisition of a new language, and I agree that as I can say that, for example, to conclude from your presentation and for mine, that the fear or I don't know how to say the yes for we can say that the fear sometimes don't let the students talk or participate in class. That is a very big um, obstacle in the English learning.
I think the same. Like we as teachers have to do that. But I have more questions about it. Like we were talking about what things can we do as teachers for improving this situation. So this is the first question. What innovative English learning activities do you propose to address the identified educational challenge?
Okay, for example, I can say that use role play scenarios. Like, for example, smart groups can act out everyday situations. For example, going shopping, going to travel, to things that are normally nowadays, to make speaking fun and less scary. Discussion circles, for example, students share thoughts on easy topics in a circle, ensuring everyone speaks in a safe place or setting. Another one could be, for example, a partner question and answers. Students pair up with another student to ask each other simple questions, switching partners to build confidence with different classmates. I think that these activities aim to make talking enjoyable and reduce fear or mistakes.
Well, I think those are very good activities indeed. Me as a teacher, I think, well, I have used them and I agree with what you're saying. People need to realize that learning a second language shouldn't be scary or it shouldn't be something personal. It's more like self improvement and having fun with it. But
Yes.
there is something I don't like about your proposals, and it's what do we do with the difference of level? You know, there are some students who know more and some students who
Yes.
know less.
For, for example, we can divide them by the level of English that they have. As you're saying, we can pair up AI A1 English learner to a B2 or C1. It could be it couldn't be right.
Yes, it could be right. It could be unfair.
Yes.
Yeah, and what about us teachers? Like, I think teachers have to be part of the process. But what do
Yes.
you think about it?
For example, I think that we have to connect to the student and in think that all the students are a different world. Yes, because
Hmm.
there are students that can learn about watching videos, or the input of the learning is visual. Yes, or there are also students that enjoy reading, for example, stories, newsletters. uh, there are also students that enjoy, for example, listening to music, doing activities related to that, not just all doing the same, because there are students that don't like a way to learn that other prefer.
Well, I think that according to what you're saying and the theory that we are seeing right now, I can say that in this class observed, that's what it missed. It missed activities that made people interact with English directly by speaking, by conversating with their partners, by acquiring new skills.
Yes,
Do you agree?
yes,
Yes, man.
you're right.
We can talk about the second question, like what specific resources, including digital tools and materials, do you propose to utilize to support the implementation of your proposed activities?
For example, I recommend the flashcards. We can do it in physical, and I don't remember how to say a handed version of flashcards, or we can
Uh,
use apps, the digital way,
yeah,
using, for example, Quizlet, or another apps that can help using
yeah,
flashcards as
like a
a
pocket
tool.
version of it. Yes.
Yes. Talking or following the same line, we can use, for example, Google Slides or PowerPoint, or as I use in my presentation, Genially, Canva. There are a lot of apps or resources that we can use. YouTube is also a very good tool to learn and to teach. We can use, for example, we can create our own videos and upload it to share with our students, or we can use the materials for another teacher that we consider that is appropriate for the teaching.
Excellent. That's what I was thinking about when you were mentioning videos and that kind of content. I was thinking, yeah, we need that kind of content. We need real content, but one that can help us to learn, right? Because not many videos are good for that.
For example, I would like to say that, and as you and as me, we are not native speakers, and we
Hmm.
won't be a native teachers. So the best way, for example, to improve our skills talking about the learning, about the phonetic, or yes, the phonetic, for example, is the use of material given for a native or a person that has a highest level in the language.
Oh, that's so nice. I agree with it. Yes. So just like Michael Long was saying and Krashen in their theory, we need like as teachers, we need to form or develop certain content for our students. Like it's meaningful for them. Yeah, like the input importance that Michael Long was saying. Talking about that, I have a last question, man. We're almost finishing. I promise. What methodologies do you propose to use to assess the impact of your proposed activities on language learning outcomes?
For example, I can say that observation checklist. Yes, the teachers try who speaks and how confident they seem during activities. Um, all the students can show us the same confidently when they are speaking to us. Yes, there are some that show themselves in a more shy way, or there are others that are, for example, more talkative, and so there are difference. Another, for example, can be student service. We as teachers, we can ask students if they feel better about speaking after activities. And for example, we can use the participation points. We can award them giving points for speaking effort and to track increased participation.
Okay, I think the same. Like some methodologies that we should apply for learning and teaching English should be focused more in the students. What can they do about the information? More, more like scavenging information for them. Yes, it's like make them acquire certain skills that the language needs.
Mm-hmm. You're right.
So, thank you so much for participating, man. It has been a very meaningful topic, very good insights you have, and well, some points that you said, I agree with them. Some of them, well, maybe could improve. What do you think?
No, for example, I would like to say that in your presentation and the answers that you were giving to me, we seem like we are agree in more topics or in more sentences, for a way to say that
Hmm.
we are not.
What that were
Yes.
not? Yes, I agree with you, man. So, thank you so much for your attention, man. It has been a delightful debate, and see you next time.
Thanks to you, Gerson. You did a great job. Thanks for
Yes,
all.
thanks, man. See you.
See you.